Ryan, and today, back at Ryan's Foods, we're going to be making some steak. So right now I'm just crushing some garlic. What you want to do is you're going to want to take off the skin of the garlic, like this. Cutting our onions, I'm going to put on these goggles just to protect my eyes from the burn that they create. This might look silly, but it's necessary. And then you're going to want to cut it this way too. So I'm just about cutting this. It doesn't look that perfect as what I had over here, but I'm going to go with it. Maybe it'll soften up and get a little bit better when we cook it with the beef. So we've marinated some of the steak with soy sauce, garlic, and some pepper. So now we're just going to tenderize it, and then we're going to cut it, and then we're going to cook it. So you're going to want to flip it over and do the same to the other side. Okay, we're going to cut this in half because we have 4 people to serve today. So we're going to cut that in half. We're going to put that to the side for now. And now we're going to cut it in half. Okay. So we're going to move our little our steak here. So what I've done is I've taken some organic 100% virgin oil by Simply Balance and just spread it on this little pan here. So we're going to put this on high. So while we let this heat up for our steak, we have this other pan here for our mushrooms. So you're going to want to turn that on to simmer. So you're going to want to take some butter. Okay, so we're just going to want to stir that up while our butter melts. Oops, I forgot one. Just keep that stirring. So now our pan here is finally heated up. So we're going to put our steak here. Listen to that crackle. That's how you know that you're going to have some good food today. So we're going to turn on our vent fan, which is down here. While it's happening, we're going to cover this up so it cooks faster. And our butter has melted. Just stir that up a little bit more. So now we are going to saute our onions and garlic. Just plop that in. Try to get all of it in. And we're just going to saute that for a bit before we add our mushrooms. While we're sauteing our garlic and onions, we are going to check on our steak with our little thermometer. Plop that in. Okay. Let's check. You should check on all of them. And while we're waiting there, just cover it up again. We are going to now add our mushrooms. So you're going to want to be a little bit more careful about this because now the butter's hot and you don't want to burn yourself. So just be nice and gentle. That's a lot of mushrooms. Okay, so you're probably wondering why is it so big and so much? So after it gets cooked for a little bit, they shrink down. So we're going to let it cook for about 5 to 10 minutes. You're going to want to check it about at 2 minutes and 30 seconds just to give it a nice stir, and then we'll check back on our steak. I just checked on our steak and it's around 80 degrees Fahrenheit. So now we're going to add some cream, some soy sauce, and some pepper to our mushrooms. Sorry about that loud noise. So we're going to do 1 cup cream, okay. So 1 cup cream to your mushrooms, just spread it all around. And then around 1/4 cup of soy sauce. So you're gonna just mix it all around. That should be enough. We're gonna get some pepper, just to add in a little bit of extra flavor. Okay, that should be enough. And then you're gonna keep mixing it. Everything looks really delicious right now. I'm just gonna go check on our steak. That looks amazing. So we've added some garlic to the top just for extra seasoning. We're going to look at our steak here. So I've turned some of these on their side just to cook the sides because I'm still very red on some of the sides here. Let me cut this one. Okay, I'm going to turn this on its side. This one is good, so I'm going to leave it like that. And we're going to go check back on our mushrooms. Okay, it's boiling a little bit. I think it's almost perfect and ready. I wish you could smell this right now. But if you make this at home, you probably can. Okay, so now we're going to go back to our mushrooms. That looks just about done now. So I'm going to give our mushroom sauce a little try. That is so good. So I tried the sauce. I'm going to try one of our mushrooms now. Just see if I can get one of these. That is amazing and delicious. So I'm going to take this time to give a shout out to my mom, who has been helping me with all these recipes. She's been preparing everything for me. She's been the person behind the camera. She's a nurse and she's been helping all sorts of people during this difficult time. I also hope that you're doing very well during this difficult time. So if we could give a shout out down in the comments below for her. 1 tablespoon of flour just to thicken the sauce a little bit. So we're going to put it back. And we're going to give that a mix and see how it turns out. So we added a little bit of flour to thicken the sauce of our mushrooms, and we put it back. We just want to stir that a little bit more, and then we're going to plate it. I'm so glad on how this turned out. The mushrooms and the sauce are so good, and the steak. Steak turned out phenomenal. Stay tuned for the next video. We're going to be making some chicken adobo.